We became worried about them, so finally I called them on the phone and said, hey, you're supposed to be here so that we could take care of the things on your list. And they said, we're in Florida. We didn't have a list. And that's when we knew, it is possible.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special opportunity today. Right now, we're in front of the delivery bay here at Newell Coach in Miami, Oklahoma, and there's a lot of people walking around on this coach right now. Grant, what's going on, sir?
We're about to show you what our executive review process looks like. This happens right at the end of the production process, right before delivery. It's kind of our opportunity to get the full team involved in our end-of-line quality checks. Chuck Evans, who is our Vice President of Manufacturing, leads the process from when it starts in the chassis all the way through the delivery. So he's going to kind of walk you through some specifics about the process.
Thank you to Newell Coach for sponsoring today's video.
Pretty unique. It's, you know, at 26 coaches a year, this only happens 26 times a year, so it's a pretty unique opportunity.
Chuck, what's going on here, sir?
So we have a group of people from the organization to come out and take a look at the coach now that it's finished, and it's just before cut and buff, and then the customer will arrive. So we're going over it with the white gloves and check out everything that we can. We look for things that need to be corrected, but we also look for continuous improvement opportunities, and that's primarily what we're focused on here today.
When you started working here, what was the quality control standards, and how many punch list items do people usually have after taking delivery?
You know, one of the first things that I learned when I came to Newell Coach is this is not mass production. So the typical total quality management techniques that I learned in Fortune 100 companies, such as variation is the #1 enemy to quality, well, customization is variation. So you have to have a whole different aspect of the way you look at quality when it comes to a Newell Coach. When I first started, when we would deliver a coach, customer would take a shakedown. On average, they could have anywhere from 75 to maybe even over 100 punch list items. Now, these things weren't major. Maybe this switch wasn't working or this latch wasn't quite right, but it was kind of alarming to me. So we set a goal that we wanted to, at a shakedown, that a customer would have no more than 10 punch list items. And that was kind of a running joke, quite frankly, at first, because these are custom made by hand and there's going to be that human element. However, one day we had a customer to take delivery and go on shakedown, and Monday morning they were supposed to arrive bright and early so we could take care of their list and they go home. Well, they never showed up. And we became worried about them, so finally I called them on the phone and said, hey, you're supposed to be here so that we could take care of the things on your list. And they said, we're in Florida. We didn't have a list. And that's when we knew, it is possible. So now we measure our shakedowns and our quality by two very important measures. #1, did the customer have to come back from shakedown? And #2, how many hugs did we get during this delivery? Was it a 2-hugger, a 3-hugger, or a 5-hugger? That's what we're shooting for. Well, we have a number of people right now that are going over doing an executive review. We're going through the coach and just check out the functions of things, make sure the fit and finish is right. We start on the outside of the coach. We go and look at the paint job. Now, this one hasn't been cut and buff yet, but we still want to know what does our out of the gun quality look like. So people are going through that. So we're looking for any flaws. Not only flaws, but we're looking for continuous improvement. An example of that is in some of the bays downstairs, you'll notice we used to put stainless steel and that scratches easily. Now you see some nice carbon fiber. That was an idea that was born from an executive review. So we have both continuous improvement, we also have corrective actions.
And is that real carbon fiber?
Yes, it is.
Wow, it's not a vinyl?
Yeah. It's not a vinyl. No, we use the real thing.
Wow, that's not cheap. How many total personnel are looking over this coach right now?
You have somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 25 people. I use both supervisors who are responsible for the build of the coach, but I go to finance, I'll go to the quality department. I bring people from different areas of the organization, kind of a new set of eyes to see things that maybe we're not seeing because we look at them every day. So we're just trying to get the advantage point from everyone's perspective. And the main thing is that we want to see it in the condition that the customer is going to see it for the first time. And that's what we're trying to replicate here and saying, hey, how can we make this better? A couple of the improvements that we've made through the executive review, just to give you an example, if you'll notice, there's a vent up here on the side of the coach, and this is for where the galley and the oven is. So when you're cooking and you want to exhaust the fumes from outside, here's a vent for that. That vent used to be square. And someone said, hey, on Newell's, one of our trademarks is so many things are on a radius. So why not make our vents on a radius as well? So you can see that that is a radius vent that's on the coach now rather than the square.
Nice.
Another example would be, we noticed that when customers are reeling in this shoreline, you have this area for the shoreline to go in, right? And when you're going down the road, you want that down. So that way you don't get anything going in the coach that shouldn't be there. Someone noticed that a customer was really struggling with this door as they were trying to get this in. So we just simply, from the executive review process, somebody said, well, why don't we just put a magnet on there so that holds it up?
Nice.
And so therefore, now we've got a nice little way and they're not wrestling with that door.
While we're walking around, I gotta point out just how over the top these basement bays are. Here's all that carbon fiber that Chuck was talking about. There's that big water pump as well as an auxiliary water pump, it looks like.
Lots of redundancy, so if one is not functioning, you have the other as a backup. Something else that we started doing the last few years, you notice these canisters here. This is for our power wash system and have deionized water. It's so important to our customers that when they're washing their coaches to not have the water spots on there. So this coach is equipped with a power washer that has the deionized water system.
Have you guys found any problems on this coach, or is there anything you guys have found that you're gonna need to make adjustments to?
Yes, we do. What we have is we have someone recording. So as people find things, they come here and talk with Cindy to find out what some of the things are that we have found on the coach. Cindy, can you read off 2 or 3 of the items so far that you have on the executive review?
The generator overflow bottle has a plugged drain tube, and the undercoach lights are not on in front of the steer axle.
Okay, very good. One of the things we do is we develop a punch list from this executive review, and then it is handed out to the supervisors of the various departments, and then they bring their employees in, number one, to look at the item and to repair it if it needs repairing, but more importantly, it gets the employees exposed to this is the final product, and this is how it's going to look for the customer. What do you think? One of the unique things that we have in our workforce is we give them creative license. When it comes to quality, just because you build something according to the print or the color is right, if our employees don't think that is really Newell quality, they have the license to make it better. So we bring employees from time to time to the executive reviews so they can see what the final product looks like.
The galley, they need a magnetic piece put in there so the lights will go off and the door shut.
One of the things that I'm looking for at this door is that there's a thin line between too fast and not fast enough.
Yep.
So we want it to go fast enough to where it's swift, but not so fast that it bumps into the side of the door too hard. So that's one of the things we look for. Here's another example of some improvements we made from the executive review. We go through and we look at the fit and finish of the lines to make sure that all the cabinets are straight, all the doors are straight, and that they function properly. We make sure that the catches are set in such a way to where it's easy to open, but won't open when going down the road.
Do you also inspect, like this is almost an artwork, the way the wood grain all lines up? Are you inspecting that, or?
Absolutely. When we're fabricating, one of the things that we're looking at is to match this grain in these coaches. So that means we may have to go through several sheets of laminate to make sure that the doors match from door to door and that the grains match from door to door.
From this wire over here.
Test. We go through and we test a lot of these buttons. There's a lot of redundancy. We have these spider switches that do the same thing, but if you want to walk around and have an iPad in your hand, you can control just about anything in the coach from your iPad, including outside. So if you want to watch TV, you just simply go to the AV page, select the TV that you want, touch it, and then touch the satellite button, and the satellite will come on for that particular TV. One of the things that we're looking for is during the executive review is how flush is the drop floor with the main floor. One of the features of a Newell, of course, you don't have to step up or down for the slides, and for this type of tile, we want it to look seamless. So we have to make sure that these floors are adjusted in such a way to where you can't tell that there's a seam there when you walk on it. Guys, let's test to make sure that our riser is working properly. 4 roof air conditioners, where one of the smoke detectors are, and where the filter is changed at. Just checking this for cleanliness, that during the construction, we don't have any leftover sawdust or construction debris. With all these pocket doors that we have on the Newell, wherever you are in the coach, if for some reason that pocket door is not working, there's always an emergency release that you can push, and it takes all the air off the door, and then you can open it with hand. I can just simply reach down here, open this door, and push that button, and that takes the air off of this door, and I can move it by hand at that point.
We just finished up the executive review here. Our punch list has been delivered to our supervisors. They're going to be coming out with their teams and making any corrections. It's a really crucial part of our overall quality control. We have in-process checklists that we do for all the supervisors where they go with their teams and check their works as they're building it. But we also need an opportunity to come at the end of the line, and this executive review really does that. Quality control for Newell is really paramount. We understand that half of our sales or more in some years is our repeat business. So taking care of the quality control on the front end, using continuous improvement, getting the feedback from our service team is a big piece of what we do. If we got happy customers, then that's better for Newell.
When we get done with the executive review, the exciting part comes with delivery. We make that a big deal here at Newell Coach. So when customers get here, the lights are on, there's soft music playing, a photo shoot of their coaches going on their televisions, and they come in, they see the coach for the first time. And that's the magic moment for us. We have seen customers come in, coaches, and literally begin to cry with tears of joy. And I've heard customers say things like, "You don't know how hard we worked to get to this point. This is a dream come true." So we design and build people's dreams, and then we get to watch them experiencing it. That's what this whole delivery bay is about, experiencing your coach for the first time. For me personally, the big point is when we do what I call the reveal at the red carpet delivery. This is where the customer sees the coach for the first time. And this was born from the idea of people have a lot of anxiety about spending so much money on a product that they don't get to see for 5.5 to 6 months. So they're seeing it for the first time. So for 5 or 6 months, this anxiety is building. Did we do the right thing? Was this a good use of our money? We paid too much. Oh, is this going to match? Is it going to work? And so the big day comes when they come out. We come out with the interior designer and one of the engineers, and we bring them to the coach and we show it to them. And we have the lights all on. We have the videos going of the coach shoot. And very often that's when the hugs start. People smile, some laugh, some sit down, some even cry. And usually it's followed by a hug. And that's when we know we did it. They said what they dreamed to have, and we actually built that dream. And that's a cool moment for us to see that.